Whether you are experienced or whether you're new into the market, you now need to be creating a CV that's going to stand out from the crowd. So there's some really basic tips here. So make sure that your CV has a header. It clearly talks about who you are. I'm starting to receive loads and loads of CVs, but for some strange reason, people no longer want to put their telephone number on there, or sometimes an email address. If I'm experiencing that and you're applying for a job role, if you don't tell people how to contact you, quite honestly, they can't, and they're not going to go look for you. So make sure that you've got your details on there. Start with a really nice professional statement that outlines the number of years experience that you've got, particularly if you are already in Salesforce, what kind of industry sectors you're working in, talk about your certifications. What you then want to probably do is then create a separate section for your certs and any sort of topical information around trailhead badges, trailhead points, any professional development that you might have done. List your skills. So an employer at the moment is looking for two types of skills. Have you got a tech stack, and what does that look like, and what technical skills do you have? But actually talk about in your CV, or list in your CV, your softer skills. So if you are new into the ecosystem and you can't say, I've worked for 4 years in the Salesforce ecosystem as an admin or developer or whatever it might be, really list your softer skills. So what skills do you think that you have that are transferable? Things such as communication skills, organizational skills are always really, really good. Clearly, you want to talk about your experience and your work history, so make sure that you put that in there. And wherever possible in your CV, and it's quite tough, it's easier to talk about in an interview, but actually, I've talked about this before in an interview around how you bring something to life. Try and bring your experience to life. So if you are listing what your experience is, if you've worked on a project, outline that project. What was that project? What was your part in that project? And actually, how did that support a business? So a good one is if you are a Salesforce admin and there was a requirement for you to either train or provide some training information, can you then revert that back to an improvement in engagement on the system? So that's ultimately what customers are looking for. Try and list your hobbies as well and your interests, and make those related to, your Salesforce experience if you can, particularly around, have you volunteered within the ecosystem? Do you lead, or are you part of a user group? Have you done any mentoring? So they're really, really good sort of interests and hobbies to have. Clearly, if you're really sporty, you can put all of that as well. Don't forget to put your education. But I think the big things that stand out for me are that personal statement right at the very beginning, your skills and how you list them. And whilst you're not going to change your CV and you're not going to put anything in your CV that you aren't capable of, go back to the job description. What skills is that employer highlighting a key for them? And then how can you amend your CV so that your CV is almost highlighting those skills that you've got that match the job description? Make it easy for that potential employer to be able to see how your skill set matches their job role.